I want to make some Alabama white sauce. Now this sauce started as a tradition by Big Bob Gibson's in Alabama. Chris Lilly is a good friend of mine now and married into that family and runs that whole conglomerate, and they have took it basically worldwide. White sauce is known by everybody, and it's one of those things once you have it, I mean, some days I can't get enough of it. And this is kind of my version of white sauce. So I'm gonna start off with 2.5 cups of good mayonnaise, which I use Blue Plate. You use the mayonnaise of your choice. Then I'm gonna go 3/4 cups of apple cider vinegar. Let's get that in there. Then I'm gonna go 1 good tablespoon of just plain old sugar. Now I'm gonna go 2 tablespoons of garlic powder anyway. Now I'm gonna do a tablespoon of onion powder. Now I'm gonna do a couple teaspoons of prepared horseradish. You can use more if you like yours a little bit spicier. It's completely up to you. And of course the main ingredient, I'm using me a couple tablespoons of pepper. Now let's juice a lemon. 1 whole lemon. Now the only thing I didn't do was put salt in here, and I'm gonna use my everyday rub right here. You can cut back on the pepper if you want, or the garlic or onion, and add some of it. I'm gonna go about a tablespoon of it though. Now let's get all this mixed up and give it a try. I will tell you guys, one good addition to this would be some celery salt or celery seed. It'll bring a depth of flavor to it. It's up to you, but you can add, you know, several things to this to make it your own, completely up to you. Now I made this on the thinner version today. If you don't want it as thin, just cut your apple cider vinegar back is all you have to do to about 1/2 cup. Ooh, that chicken's gonna be good. Let's get this in the fridge right here, let it set a while, and let's prep some chicken. All right, the first thing we wanna do is cut our chicken into 2 halves and remove the backbone, which basically means we're gonna spatchcock it and then cut it in half, right? And now, today I'm cooking a Springer Mountain Farms whole fryer here. This bird weighs almost 6 pounds, it's 5.79 pounds. So let's get in here, get it open, get it dried off, and get it going where we can cook it. Now, the first thing we wanna do is remove those giblets. I'm not using them today. So let's get in here on the back side. So first thing I'm gonna do, we got the backbone here. I'm gonna take and run my knife down each side of the backbone. Now, let's get in here with these shears and cut this thing out. All right. Now, you can save this for stock or anything you want to. It's completely up to you. I'm discarding it today. Now, once we get that bird laid open, we can kind of see a little bit more of it now. I'm gonna remove a little bit of this excess skin right here. Kind of trim up and get anything you don't want on it off. Now I'm gonna go right here in the center, kind of pop that down, and kind of spread that open right there. Now when you spread that open, you can kind of see how it lays open here. Kind of go down and just cut that. Lay your knife in there and go right through it, just like that. Now when you get through it, all you gotta do is cut the chicken. And there's your 2 pretty chicken halves. Now, all we have to do is clean these up just a little bit. Get any excess skin off like this right here that we want off or anything like that, and pat them dry. So I'm gonna trim these up a little bit more. We're gonna get ready to season them. Well, that right there is the wishbone. This we'll leave that alone. Now that we've got both our chickens kind of dried off, we've already got them prepped. You've seen how simple that was. So spatchcocking a bird and then cutting it into 2 halves is not hard at all. So I'm just gonna come back. I'm going with my chicken rub. If you've got a favorite chicken rub or a seasoning you like, be sure to use it. Nothing wrong with what we're doing. We're gonna take these thighs, legs, drums, wings, all in one of these halves, smoke them up on that Weber kettle, get a little bit of char on them. We're gonna use some white sauce on them. All right, let's get them in our fridge, get our Weber kettle fired up, get ready to roast some chicken. You can see we've got our charcoal chimney fired up. I've got a little bit, about a half of a chimney left in here unfired up. I'm gonna dump this fired coal on top of that to give me a good bed of coals to get going before I roast my chicken. So let's get in here and do this. I'm gonna sprinkle it right on top of this right here. Now I'm setting up for a 2-zone fire, and I'm putting it on this end here where I can access it and anything like that. All right. Let's get our grate on, get our grill stabilized, and get ready to cook that chicken. All right, we've got our Weber fired up with the all new hickory blended pellet charcoal here. And I can tell you, putting off some smoke. I've got our grill choked down here. We're running about 375 degrees. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take these birds here, and I'm gonna get them on the back side to get a little bit of smoke on them here, is all I'm gonna do. Put that breast away from the fire here on both of those. Now, I got my fire on this end, 2-zone fire set up, pulling that smoke right over those chickens coming out. I'm gonna set a timer for about 30 minutes and look at them. I'm gonna let them go so far, let it tack that rub up, and I'm gonna start getting a little seared on them every once in a while over those hot coals. And I'll take them off once we get close to temp, let the grill get really hot. And I'm gonna put me a kiss of char on this chicken because that's what I like. You do it how you like it though. All right, it's been 35 minutes. Let's get in here and see what our chicken looks like. Our grill is running about 350 degrees, right where I want it at. So our chicken is looking good. So I'm gonna peek under it here. Yep, I know it's nowhere near done. So look at that. Yep, just perfect to me. Yep, we're gonna keep letting this bird smoke. I'm gonna keep letting it go. I'm actually gonna open this vent up just a little bit. I don't mind if it crawls up to about 375 or 370, something like that. We're gonna let it go about another 30, 40 minutes in here. And then I'm gonna start putting it over those coals and getting a little bit of char on it, moving it back and forth. I'm not gonna keep it directly on it, keep it on a few minutes, turn it, flip it, move it back over, shut the grill lid. I'm just easing this chicken up. I'm not trying to just absolutely murder it. All right, we'll be back in about 30 more minutes. All right, we are an hour and 15 minutes into our half chickens cooking here. Let's get in here and look at this. These birds are looking great. I'm gonna go right in here. We're hitting 130 in that breast there. We're hitting about 128 in that one there. I'm gonna check the thigh meat. Oh, that's 138, about 10 degrees hotter. And that's about 140 I hit on top of bone on that. I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm gonna leave this grill lid open right here a few minutes. And I'm gonna see if I can't get a little flame shooting up, and I'm gonna char a little chicken. I'm gonna go on in here, and I'm gonna get me a bird down. I'm gonna roll that one over and do the same thing right there. Now I'm gonna give it a few minutes like this right here. Here, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get the grill lid on this, and I'm just gonna let it go for a couple minutes right there under that lid like that, and then I'll flip them over and give it a couple minutes like that, back and forth, back and forth. All right, our chicken has been on for 2 hours and 15 minutes, and it's got that color what I'm wanting. And when you go in that thigh right there, it's hitting that 167. I'm calling it a day for me. I'm gonna get this chicken off here and let it rest a few minutes before we dunk it in some white sauce. All right, our chicken is off of our Weber, and there's only one thing left to do. That's let it take a dunk in this white sauce right here. So let's get it picked up. Get it all the way in. I'd say that's a piece of chicken. All right, just to recap, we took a whole chicken from Springer Mountain Farms. We cut the backbone out and separated it into 2 chicken halves. We then seasoned it with a little bit of our chicken rub and put it back in the fridge. While we fired up our Weber 22-inch kettle with a little bit of the new Royal Oak charcoal briquettes with hickory pellets built in them. Now, before we even prepped our chicken, we made a really nice Alabama white sauce to kind of pay our homage to Big Bob Gibson's. They have done a great job with that, and I hope they would be kind of proud of the way our chicken looks today to cook on an old Weber kettle. You know, we started off with some mayo, some apple cider vinegar, some fresh squeezed lemon juice, some horseradish, some salt, some pepper, some garlic powder, some onion powder, and we used a little bit of our everyday rub to kind of round it all together. You could have changed that out to the garlic jalapeno if you want to add a little heat. And another addition to this Alabama white sauce, you could always put it in a kind of a food processor and chunk a whole jalapeno in there, or half a jalapeno with or without the seeds, to get a really spicy kick if that's what you want. But I kept it a little more traditional today. We got that thing fired up, got it stabilized about 350 degrees, and we created a 2-zone fire. We put our chickens on one half and let them roast for a little over an hour. Then we started doing a little turn and burn, a little charring right after about an hour and a half. These chickens had a total cook time of 2 hours and 15 minutes. And we roasted this chicken, dunked it in this white sauce, and y'all look at this. It looks absolutely great. I mean, I really just, I'm blown away. There's only one thing I want to do, and that's get in here and try a bite. I'm gonna separate out the leg quarter off of that, and I'm gonna come in here and try to get behind that wing bone with one hand. Just tear it off there. Because I want to bite of that wing, and I'm going to dunk some more back in that sauce right there just like that to try. Man, my mouth is watering. Y'all, I know I feel like I'm wearing this on my face. That black pepper, the lemon, the horseradish, comes in there with chicken rub, and you know what brings it all together? The smokiness of this chicken. That new Royal Oak charcoal with the hickory pellets built in, this right here is definitely gonna go in my rotation for a family meal, because just busting down a whole chicken and doing this, wow.